What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dexter Henry here, along with Bryan Fonseca, the first New York Got Game Knicks Weekly Live of the season. This after the Knicks got off to a 1-0 start with their 119-111 victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Last night, that Bryan and I were watching with the great DJ Rhea in studio. Bryan, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing well. We've been busy this week. We've been busy this week. There's a lot to discuss. Chuck D, we had Zach. We have someone else coming on, which I'm excited about to talk about Knicks Celtics. We were obviously live last night for the entire game, plus pre and post. We'll do another one of those very soon, but we're busy here, and it's good. There's no complaints, and the Knicks are back, and it's going to be a really, really, again, captivating season. So we're going to be documenting it every step of the way.
Yeah, no. It's been good. It's been a busy week. Glad to have everybody joining us here. If you're with us in the chat, watching on YouTube or Twitter, let us know. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the New York Post Sports YouTube channel. Let us know what you think about the Knicks start to the season 1-0. We have Mike Zakarian joining us later. He is the host of NBA BIT and Celtics Daily. He'll be joining us around 7:15, so stay tuned with us. We'll preview Knicks Celtics tomorrow night with him. That should be a fun one. Friday night, Knicks also on Amazon Prime. So that should be a very interesting one there for sure. All right, let's get into things because the Knicks, they start the Mike Brown era with a victory, as I talked about before, 119-111. We talked about this a little bit last night, Bryan, and what we thought about it. And look, sometimes you get the quick reactions, and now I rewatched a little bit of the game this morning. You think about what you saw. This was a really encouraging win. It was just refreshing. I'm going to get to the refreshing part in a little bit. But it just was a really, I think, feel-good win for the fan base to start this season. And I think fans should feel good about what they saw last night. Don't jump out the window. Only one game. But I think they should feel good about what they saw last night. How are you feeling now that we are now coming up on 24 hours since the game tipped off last night? But how are you feeling now, almost 24 hours removed from the start of
Yeah,
this season opener?
having done a little review, I came away feeling similarly as I did last night, which doesn't always happen. But I felt like it was a solid win. I don't want to overstate its importance or anything like that. Ultimately, 1-0 is just 1-0.
Right.
But in terms of being able to dig deep into the bag and pull out 11 players playing consistent minutes, 12 minutes plus, only one starter, OG Anunoby in this case, over 34 minutes, just different things. Now it could also be first day of school, you're wearing your best stuff, like it could just be that, right? Like we don't know where this is going to head when we get to like February 26th, or the dog days of the NBA season, like March 18th, where teams are just doing whatever, guys are sitting, and you're trying to really preserve people for the playoffs. But in terms of what you wanted to see from Mike Brown, in terms of playing the right notes, playing a deeper rotation, giving opportunities to the young guys, not all of them, but maybe Diawara and Pacome have to earn it a little bit more with Mike Brown. And I think given the preseason, especially with Pacome, that's fair. But he gave Tyler Kolek a shot. We saw Trey Jameson get a shot. We saw Ariel Hawk-Porty start and play 18-ish minutes. And we saw the starters play, basically what we thought they would in terms of a minute share. And in terms of how the offense looked, you saw some positive things too. But don't want to overstate it because on the other side, Cleveland's dealing with significant injuries as well, missing three of their best players, three of their 5 or 6 best players. And they played Tyrese Proctor 16 minutes. I don't know how often that's going to happen this season. I don't know how often Kenny Atkinson's going to be playing, he'll probably play Craig Porter Jr. some. But yeah, they're not going to start Jalen Tyson in a playoff series if they don't have to. You know what I mean? So I don't want to overstate game one either. But overall, you'll take the win, you'll move on to the next, and you're getting a Boston team that's coming off of a very tough loss, who's not the Boston team that they were last year. So it's going to be real interesting to talk about.
Yeah, no, and it is going to be interesting. We're obviously going to talk a lot today about how that game is going to look against the Celtics coming up on Friday night. I think for me, when I looked back at a little of the game today, one of the things I was just like, I think we'll all talk about the rotations and how refreshing that is. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. But I think one of the refreshing things, I don't think I really zoned in as much when we were watching with the watch party, was the defense. And you saw some instances where the Knicks were picking up 94 feet. They were pressuring the ball a little bit. You saw this from Deuce McBride picking guys up. A lot of times the Knicks were getting back under Tom Thibodeau, letting teams come across half court and then getting into that half court defense. So I think, the thing about basketball today is, and you're seeing this, we talk so much about pace in the offense, but you want to try to get easier shots, right? And this is why you're pushing the ball. You're trying to get the ball ahead of the defense. Can you get guys out to the wing? Can you get easier, high quality looks? That's something you want to do, but you also want to make the other team work a lot. And when you had a Cavs team that didn't have Darius Garland in this one, that didn't have DeAndre Hunter, you got to make this team with Donovan Mitchell work. And they really did make them work defensively. Do I think it was the most amazing defensive performance? No. But I thought it was a little wrinkle in something that we hadn't seen last year. I think so much of the offense is going to get attention. Again, I'm sticking to my guns. I think this Knicks defense is going to be better than people think. I really do.
You said top 10?
Yeah, I did.
Word?
I said 8 to 10. I said I think it finished like 8 to 10 in the league. And I think if that happens with their offense being where you think it could be, that's really good. I think that could be really good. But that was something looking back. I was like, oh, man, I wasn't even peeping that they actually were picking some guys up 94 feet away, making them work. That's something you just didn't see a lot of. I think that, and then also how much, even though I looked at Jalen Brunson's usage in this game, and it was around, let me just double check, I believe it was 33%. Jalen Brunson's 33.7% usage that he had in this game, right? This one game, but you did see enough of Mikal Bridges with the ball in his hands. I thought that was good as well, too, even though his usage was 16.7%. So this usage percentage, according to Cleaning the Glass, for everybody, just to be clear. But I did think it was a really good sign from what you saw there. Everybody in the chat, drop your thoughts. Want to hear from you. Size 9 is in the building, right on time.
Always.
Oh, size 9 is a regular. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. Felix Baldomero says Tyler Kolek is going to be a legit backup point guard this year. Look, if he plays like he did last night, that will be true. We got to see more than one game.
He kind of has to be now too.
That would be true. Yeah. Size 9 said it's not about winning. Wait, what do you mean it's not about winning?
I guess he takes it because he says the rest of it is it's about how we control the game. So I guess he's really on, like, for him more. I'll speak for Size 9. I got you. He's saying like how they actually played is more impactful than the result, which I think is normally the case in preseason. But I think in the regular season, that does matter. Like, because I do think that there are probably Knicks fans who would be pissed off with the victory if Mike Brown played 8 deep.
Oh, I get that.
Like guys played 42 minutes. And it's like, oh, okay. Tibbs could do that.
I get that point. Okay, I get that point, and I think it does matter how. I won't say maybe like how I get the point about how they control the game. I think yes, it did matter that he played a lot of guys deep. We thought that was huge. We talked about that last night after the watch along. We thought that was huge in how they played a lot of guys. Listen, Knicks fans, I get it. You wanted it to look different. And it looked different, right? Now, we'll see how sustainable that is and how the rotation is, but I think it matters that it looked different. I don't disagree with you on that. Size 9. Size 9 doesn't think that the defense will be as good as I think, but okay. I just think people forget that Mike Brown's bones is defense and in terms of coaching. I think that's everybody goes to, he was in Golden State for a while. Like he forgot how to coach. The guy's a good defensive coach. He just didn't have defensive players in Sacramento.
You want an example about how just as an aside of how offensive rating is bullshit, especially for bigs. If you look at the advanced metrics, this is from Basketball Reference.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Jameson's offensive rating was 233, which is insane, but he didn't do anything from an offensive standpoint. And Dean Wade,
he was part of a lineup that had a 200 offensive rating. So right, you can't look at individual. Your point is. Individually,
especially for centers, right? Because Mitchell Robinson's offensive rating be off the charts, and then when you actually look at him play offense, you come away like, Dean Wade, who shot 3 for 3, offensive rating also over 200 individually. But I mean, I do think there are some interesting takeaways here. And this is an example of, I think, the rating sort of working out, matching the eye test. Speaking of defense, Mikal Bridges, defensive rating under 100 individually. Nobody else, except for OG Anunoby, was close. And in watching the game, as we talked about with Rhea last night, we thought Wingstop actually lived up to Wingstop.
Yep.
Like we thought in this game, we gave the MVP of the game to OG Anunoby and said Mikal Bridges is right there. Not that Jalen Brunson didn't matter, but he was inefficient shooting. He did get to the line. Like this is what you're taught when you're playing basketball as a little kid, from when you're a little kid all the way through high school, college, whatever. If your shot is not falling, get to the free throw line and get it done. Jalen Brunson did that. But Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby were really good in this game, really important in this game. And the metrics sort of reflect that, specifically for Mikal Bridges, who had a particularly strong two-way game. And then we talk about OG Anunoby just filling in the gaps from a rebounding perspective, because this team was down 2 of their 3 best rebounders in Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart.
That was very impressive to me.
It might happen again in this game against Boston, by the way. Mitch is out and Josh Hart is questionable right now. And Towns is questionable, as a matter of fact. So those are your 3 best rebounders, which means we might be betting on Ariel Hawkporty again.
Yeah, might be doing that again. I will say this. Size 9 said, when's the last time who? Oh, he's saying Mike Brown had a top 10 defense. Yeah, but that your having a top 10 defense predicates on the players you have, right? Like it predicates on the players you have. That's what it matters. Did anybody take that Sacramento team to be serious there as having any good defenders there? David Smith said, I want to bring up his comment here. He said that fans do not appreciate all that Towns does for this team and his overall positive impact on winning. I think Towns has gotten unfairly criticized at times, David.
Chuck D would agree with you. Given what he told us
I think
Monday.
so. Chuck D was saying that with us the other night. I think that can happen. I think the fact that, listen, if you don't think Mike Brown's a good defensive coach, then whatever. Don't say it. You haven't watched basketball. The guy had good defenses with not that many great players in Cleveland. that was impressive. We were talking about that last night with Rhea, and even with his short stint with the Lakers, he had some pretty good defenses. I'm not worried about the defense under Mike Brown. Like, I'm not really worried about that. I think he's going to do things to cover up the deficiencies of the 2-star players on this team. But we're going to talk Knicks Celtics. We are going to bring in our guest for today. It is Mike Zakarian. He is the host of NBA BIT and Celtics Daily. First time on the show. Mike, welcome. How you doing, sir?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. It's really nice to listen to a couple of people talk about what it was like to get a win to start the season. So this is
New Yorkers feel so bad for you, Mike. They feel so bad for you right now. They're so upset. So upset.
Yeah, I'm sure. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
No,
absolutely.
Man. No, absolutely, man. Glad to have you. Thank you for making the time and joining with us. Well, let's talk about the team you do a show on, the Celtics. I thought you guys had things, I thought you had things covered last night against the Sixers. I thought that what happened? Let the people know what happened, Mike.
Well, I think what's nice, a lot of people were concerned this team was going to look so different from previous eras of the Celtics team without Jason Tatum. But the good news is we're still going to blow a fourth quarter lead, So like no matter who we got going, we can show you how to drop a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. Honestly, man, if I didn't watch the game and you just told me what the score was, I would have been like, oh, good, we battled. But I did see Embiid not be able to jump. And so the fact that Embiid can't physically get off the floor and you still were unable to not secure that W. I mean, dude, 74 points to the backcourt of the 76ers, man. The dude's first basketball game, and he hit you with 30 plus in the league. It's just, I thought the front court was going to be an issue defensively, but it might be just all the courts. It might be all the courts that is going to be a defensive problem. But I don't know. I mean, they're going to be a fun team to root for, but this is going to be a very different experience, I think, for Boston fans than what we have become accustomed to.
Are Boston fans ready for that, though, Mike? There's a little bit of swagger. I was up in Boston shortly after the Knicks beat them. I was up there to see Mets and Red Sox at Fenway, and let's just say the Boston fans were being full Boston. You know what I mean? They were being full Boston. They still had their chest out. Do you think they understand that this might be a step back this year? And are they understanding of that process?
No, they're not. And because when the second Tatum had that catastrophic injury, I was like, honestly, you know what? They were going to have to shed salary anyways. Like, this was a reality. This was going to happen. Maybe not as aggressively as they did it, but you're not going to. A new owner just paid $7 billion for a team, and then this roster plus luxury tax was going to be another $500 million to like maybe win 40 games. Like, you're not going to do that without Tatum, right? So I was like, hey, listen, just retool, see what you got with the young guys, get a good pick, keep JB and White like relatively healthy, and then when Tatum comes back, you're ready to go. And I presented that to my Celtics audience, and they're like, what are you talking about? This is a 50-win team. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Really? Wow, 50-win team.
Yeah, and I do think there is something to be said. Like, Jaylen Brown is like, people love to hate on Jaylen Brown because maybe his left hand isn't super great and he gets paid $50+ million. I get it. But like, JB is he's made an all NBA team. Like, he is a legit top 15 to 25 guy, wherever you want to put him. And I do like Peyton Pritchard. I do like Anthony Simons, but they brought in Luka Garza and Josh Minot, who you have to like grind the Basketball Reference to just find some facts. You know what I mean? Like, and people were like, oh no, dude, come on. Luka Garza is like a pretty good screen setter. I'm like, how do you know? What tape are we watching that you're seeing that? And now, to Josh Minot's credit, he's looked kind of nice. Like, he's looked like he can carve himself out a role. But I mean, the fact that that's who I'm talking about right now kind of tells you where this Celtics season's at, you know?
In terms of the Celtics and the Sixers specifically, I had 3 takeaways from this game, and I want to know which one of these sort of alarmed you the most. One, the 3-point shooting, which were promised to actually accelerate this year, 11 for 43, 26%. They also didn't take as many as I thought they could have and probably would have, because Joe Mazzulla and others are putting out, hey, maybe it's 50, 60 per game. And it wasn't really that close to that. It was kind of standard, at least for Celtic basketball. So that's 1. 2, losing this game despite Joel Embiid going 1 for 9, looking like he's much closer to the finish line than we might think, even though it's only 1 game. And we didn't, like, VJ Edgecombe, I thought before the draft, I'm like, he's going to be amazing. I think he's going to be legitimate. I didn't think he'd score 34 in his opening night, but you know, and Tyrese Maxey, obviously. And then point number 3 would be the backcourt defense. Yeah, because a lot of questions, and you sort of indicated this, the questions were going to be about Neemias Queta, for example, in the front court. How's he going to handle it? Well, he looked pretty good, and he looked nice. Game. But the backcourt defense, I mean, which is supposed to be led by Derek White, who's a damn good defender. Jaylen Brown, also a good defender. You know, which of these things you think is the most worrisome?
Yeah, I honestly, I was mentally prepared to do the first 2 things. I was like, I think the offense is going to take a little bit of time to. I think it's going to look a little funky, kind of like how you guys were talking about the Knicks defense. Like, I think the Knicks defense will look very different in February than it does right now. Same thing with the Celtics offense. Like, I think it's going to take some time for everybody to figure out their role. But defense is such like a team thing. And so when the front court, like, you know who you have in the front court, like, yes, that's going to be a problem. But with the back court, and you like referenced it, Derek White, man, Derek White's supposed to be that guy. And there was nobody shutting down anybody last night in the Sixers backcourt. It makes me wonder, like, because the offense is shifting in a way and Derek White's now being asked to do a little bit more offensively, does that mean defensively he's going to have to, you know, take a step back a little bit? So that part makes me a little bit nervous. I'm not really sure. What to do. I did not anticipate seeing 74 points from the backcourt. I thought Joel Embiid was going to put up like a 20-20 night and then maybe the Celtics way, but did not see this 70-point game coming from them. That is to me by far like the most alarming thing.
Yeah, that was really shocking for me. The Joel Embiid stuff too. He just. Yeah, that does not look good, man.
You could argue convincingly that it looked worse than if you just read it on the stat sheet 1 for 9. If you just watch him moving around,
yo, he did not look. I watched that when I got home.
In preseason, he didn't even look like this.
That's what I'm saying. I was so confused by that, and I like Xavier. I'm not comparing Xavier Tillman to Joel Embiid. Let me just get out in front of that.
Gives you an idea of where Embiid is.
But like, Tillman was saying last season that like some days his knee would be really swollen and some days it wasn't. Like, and I wonder if that is kind of what Embiid's dealing with right now, where like some days his body reacts in a way and some days it doesn't. And because I'm with you, I watched a little bit of that preseason that he did. And then to have that preseason performance, then say, yeah, and some people don't even have me in the top 100 anymore. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'd play a regular season game before you start coming back at people for that. And because that looked, I felt bad. Like that made me.
I'm there too. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I feel bad. You got to feel bad.
He missed his first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And then the third year, he played 31 games. Yeah. And the Rookie of the Year class was so bad that former Knick, once a Knick, always a Knick, Malcolm Brogdon won it. And Joel Embiid got votes despite playing only 31 games.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you guys know more than anybody. You've seen it in the postseason. Like when Embiid is humming, I mean, he just seems unstoppable. He seems unstoppable. So to see him like that, a shell of himself, I just hope it was, just rust or whatever, but it did not make me feel good.
No. Can we talk about the Celtics depth as it relates to even this Knicks contest? Because we just talked about how Mike Brown goes 11 deep with this team. Who is missing 2 major integral parts in Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart. Mitchell Robinson's going to be out again for this game against the Celtics. Josh Hart questionable, and karl-anthony Towns is also questionable because he has a quad strain. Chris Boucher, grade 2 quad strain, right? So he probably should sit. Chris Boucher, Xavier Tillman, Josh Minot, Luka Garza, and Anthony Simons obviously leading the way with 32 minutes. No one else even comes close to that. And Anthony Simons, he's there to put up points. But is this a little bit thinner than maybe some people expected coming into the season? Or is this more or less what you thought this would be?
I mean, I think it's pretty generous you even use the word depth when you're starting this.
No Baylor Shireman, by the way, who I thought we would start to see, but I don't know if he's ready.
I was starting to talk myself into Baylor Shireman, and I jumped on the First to the Floor podcast, which is a part of the CNLS media on the Boston side of things, and they politely informed me that he was just about 25, and I was like, I didn't
older than you realized.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe development has happened. I thought we were going to see more Chris Boucher. Honestly, I thought that was going to be a little bit more a part of the offense. I was surprised, especially Joe ran him out as a starter a couple of times, and I thought him and Simons. I thought were going to be the 2 main guys coming off the bench. I know Jordan Walsh is still kind of dealing with an injury from the preseason, but again, the fact that was the third name I brought up is kind of telling you everything you need to know.
I feel like he's been there forever and hasn't really gotten a shot.
And he's I think only 21 or 22. So the fact that he's been there forever and Shireman who hasn't, right? I am really again, and now we're just grasping, but it
sounds like you're grasping. I was about to say that.
Like you can just feel I don't believe what I'm saying. I do really like the rookie, man. I think Hugo is going to be fun, but he seems like somebody that makes a ton of sense on a good basketball team.
Complimentary.
Exactly. And I mean, they've even talked about it coming out of camp in the preseason of he's someone that seems to be at the right place at the right time, making the right play. And that's that's why I wanted to go into this season. I was like, man, just see what you have and see what pieces you need to go get when you have your top 5, top 6 player in the league come on back. And I know he did a media tour like he had a movie coming out. Like Tatum talked to everybody in the world and was like, yeah, man, I'm going to be back. And I just imagine Brad Stevens just sweat meme, right? Just being like, hey, man, chill out. You don't have to say that.
You don't got to say that.
Yeah.
I'll say nothing.
Brad Stevens wants an excuse to pull the plug, I think.
I know, right?
If he can.
Well, no. Actually, Mike, I'm happy that Bryan said that because that's kind of what I wanted to ask you too, right? Because all right, you said that there were some fans, Celtics fans, that told you they thought this team could win 50 games.
Yeah.
I think that's a little crazy, right? Not calling those fans crazy, but I just feel like that's a little crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think they can compete for in the East will be the first part of my question, right? Like what are we talking top 6? Can they finish in the top 6 finish? Are they a playing team? And if this goes wrong, to what Bryan just alluded to, how soon do you think Brad Stevens and company will pull the plug and say, let's start doing a little bit of the tanking, the T word nobody likes to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, to the second part of your question, my thought was like, where are we at Christmas? Like if you get to Christmas, because the East is so watered down, and I think it's a little bit better than the way people have been talking about. I mean, they've been talking about it like it's church league, and I don't think it's that bad. But I do think like that 4 to 9 range is kind of up for grabs. Everybody anointed Atlanta as a team and that was going to like run through the Eastern Conference, and then they gave Toronto 138 points. They're like, anybody without 3-pointers, everybody in Toronto basically was in double figures on that team. So I do think this scrappy version of the Celtics, there's a world where they're somewhere in like 5 through 9, anywhere in between. Because Milwaukee just lost Kevin Porter Jr. for a little bit, and everybody's like, oh my God, can you believe they lost Kevin? Like, if the fact that right. is there, Josh Minot, so
he's
I don't
like their main playmaker.
Exactly. So I don't think anybody is scary in the East outside of like the Knicks and the Cavs, who, even though scary, I mean, you guys are still like you were talking about with defense, and Cleveland with their depth issues. Like, I don't think anybody is a runaway here. And if the Celtics are a 7 seed, right, and Tatum somehow does his Marvel Superman crap and shows up in March, I mean, like, hey, congrats, Orlando. You're a 2 seed and you get to play Boston in the first round with Tatum and Brown. Like, I don't think Orlando's probably still favored in that situation, but can tell me the playoff series Orlando's won recently. Tell me the playoff series. You know what I mean? So, like, outside of the Knicks or the Cavs, I think the Celtics, especially with having Brown and Tatum and the championship pedigree, whatever that's worth, they probably feel like they can go out there and, win a playoff series or 2. I do think it's unrealistic to think that they can win 4 playoff series. Like, I do think that is an unrealistic expectation.
Yes, I think I'll call it delusional. I'll say it. I think it's a little delusional.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because I love that you had the timeline of Christmas, which is around where I think a lot of us who watch the NBA are saying, like, this is where we can really evaluate a team, right?
Yeah.
Let's say we get to the deadline and the Celtics are somewhere around 500. Let's say that. Let's say a 500 team. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're sitting 7th, 8th in the East. Should they sell more pieces? Should this team look to sell more pieces at the deadline? Because you were talking about assessing this team as to see like what they have for when Tatum is back and really healthy. Not trying to come back in March, like really healthy. And you can see what he is with him and Jaylen Brown. Do you think they should sell a deadline if they're a middling team or even worse than that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially because they're still so close to that first apron number and getting like completely under everything. And then again, you just have like a clean slate to figure out when Tatum is back and 100%. And the issue they run into with Anthony Simons, who I am a fan of, like I really do like Anthony Simons' game. I think he's a good secondary playmaker and he can shoot the blood out of the ball. Like I love Simons' game, but Simons is in a contract year. So if Simons plays really, really well, we won't be able to pay him. And if he plays really, really poorly, we're not going to want to pay him. So like they're in a really tough spot with Simons, where it does kind of make sense. And I'm assuming he will be an attractive piece for a lot of teams. I mean, every team is like, who's like, I would love some shooting and another ball handler. Like everybody wants that come playoff time. So Simons, Hauser's another one who's on a pretty team friendly deal. And
he is.
Like, yeah, I wouldn't call him a defender, but I think everybody looks at Sam Hauser and they're like, I'm about to cook this guy. I don't think he's that. And he can also shoot the ball pretty well too. So I think those are 2 names. I mean, for me, Boston needs to just figure out, like, is Keita a guy? And he looked really good last night. And I think if you're able to, like, that should be the goal. If you can figure out this season, we have a center, then like that changes offseason needs and it allows you to like assess the trade deadline a little bit more. But if Keita's not the guy, that has to be like their number 1 priority, is like, who is going to play a 5 when we're back and ready to go? Because I think that's an underrated thing that happened this offseason is they lost literally everybody that rebounds on that team.
Yeah,
like,
he did.
Porzingis is in Atlanta. Luke Cornett somehow got $40 million and then a sick ass nickname of French Vanilla, like immediately when he got down to San Antonio. and then Horford's on the AARP Golden State Warriors, who looked like world beaters in that first game. And then Tatum. Those are like their top 4 rebounders. They have nobody, so they need to know what they've got at the 5. I think moving.
That's
forward.
No, that I could definitely see that. Before we get to the actual game, I want to bring up a super chat we have from a guy, Greg Film Stuff. Greg says, "What's up, bros? What's up, Greg? Who does VJ remind you guys of? I'm seeing Jason Richardson. Huh. Interesting comp there." And then he said, "What young player outside of Peyton Pritchard, I assume he's talking about, and Simons, do you guys think can break through?" Second question for
the VJ one is easy for me. It's a faster developing Victor Oladipo.
Oladipo. I love that.
That's great.
I think he's going to be Victor Oladipo, but sooner than Victor Oladipo became Victor Oladipo, because it took him like 4 years and he had to win Most Improved Player. I think VJ could be better probably a year sooner. But that's who I see. That's who I've probably seen since he was in high school. As far as the young player outside of this is for you, Mike.
Yeah.
outside of Simons and Pritchard.
Leave it to Mike.
I like Hugo Gonzalez also, but that could also be my FIBA sicko, because I watch every tournament. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen Hugo Gonzalez play for multiple years at this point. I don't even know how many people could say that. Granted, I don't know how good he's actually going to be, but I at least think he can be a role player in the NBA. But is that the answer, or do you think it's somebody else?
I think real upside, that's the answer. I was talking to Noah Dozell from CLNS.
Shout out to Noah, friend of the show.
Yeah, Noah, she's the best. Noah's great. And she was saying like the excitement, even like behind the scenes around him, like everybody in the Celtics organization. I mean, of course, they're not going to say they're not excited, right? They're only going to say they're excited. But it sounds like there's some like real momentum about what he can be as a player in this team. And I know it's almost like a drinking game at this point, but I do think Josh Minot seems to be the type of guy Mazzulla likes, which is just a true sicko. He comes out immediately, impacts the game. However, if he's not willing to shoot, like I think he had 2 field goal attempts last night. Like if he's only going to do it on one end, that's a very short ceiling or small ceiling that you have. So he's going to have to be able to develop a little bit offensively. But I think those are the 2 guys that I'm most excited about. There was some buzz about Jordan Walsh being able to shoot this year. And so if that's a thing, cool. But that's, I would put my money on like Hugo or Minot taking a jump.
All right, if that happens, that could be good for the Celtics. I do like that Victor Oladipo comp, Brian. I think that's really good with VJ Edgecombe. I really do like that. Let's talk about the game. Knicks Celtics Friday night. First time these teams face off since Game 6 last year, which did not end well for Boston, but ended very well for the Knicks. Going into this game, what intrigues you, Mike? And also, what do you think are the keys for both teams? What do you think both teams are going to exploit? Because one thing Brian and I are a little concerned about is we know Boston can get those threes up, and they're good at generating good threes. Now, they might not be as good as they were the last couple of years because they've lost all the personnel you talked about. But what are you keeping your eye on in this matchup between the Knicks and Celtics?
No, I think that's right. I mean, they went, what was it, 11 for 43 from 3 in that first game, and they weren't good ones. So I think that you're going to see a pretty high volume of 3-point shots in this one. And I wonder, like the backcourt just absolutely cooked them. Brunson is a different type of player than Maxey and VJ. And not to say that, I mean, Brunson's a dynamic offensive scorer. He's going to get his. But I wonder if that's like the same type of firework of what we saw in that first game. And one thing we can all get excited to watch is if that does happen for a second consecutive game, Joe Mazzulla is going to just lose his mind in real time, right? We could see him thrown out of the game very quickly if that's what happens. So I do think the 3 ball is going to be launched, but if depending on Karl-Anthony Towns' health too, because I really do think you can expose this Boston team with the front court, and Cat specifically being able to stretch the floor. Like Keita is solid, but is he going to be able to both move outside with Cat? And Cat has shown that he can punish them down low. But I think all Boston fans are happy Mitch Rob is going to miss one more game. I think that he'll comfortable with that because he apparently comes into the game and everybody loses their mind. We're like, we're going to follow this guy out of here. So
I had to mention the regular season.
We did talk about this in the playoffs where he came into the game and it was immediately like he rebound after rebound after rebound, and then Mazzulla's like, foul him. Yeah. And then you put him on the free throw line. There was one time, obviously, that it backfired and he actually started making free throws, which typically doesn't happen. But he's going to be out. And there's a world where Towns is out also. And I do wonder, obviously, that would be good for Boston. But you have to run a track meet at this point, I feel like, if you're the Celtics. Because now you have Ariel Hawk-Porty, who I think we agree, Dex, like we think he's going to be serviceable, if not even a pretty good center. But
yeah, we do.
He's probably not a starter yet. Yeah, and he's probably somebody you want to actually, like, you want to speed the game up if he's your 5, I guess. So is this a matter of Boston just being able to, all right, game 1, they didn't hit shots. Game 2, they will, which is kind of the problem last year. But they do have guys that can get hot on this team.
Yeah, I don't think their offense is going to look like that again, like what we saw in game one. I imagine they are going to be a little bit more efficient. Jaylen Brown in the fourth quarter too, like took over a little bit in a way that might have like slowed down or hindered. It was weird because he had an efficient game, but the fourth quarter seemed a little funky for him. So yeah, I wonder if they just decide. I mean, that's all they talked about coming out of camp. They're like, we're not even playing basketball, we're running track at practice.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
okay, then let's see it. Let's run. Let's make this happen. I would like to see them try to go small a little bit more too, and mess around with Boucher at the 5 and just try something a little bit different. Because if you were going to be outmanned in a lot of different talented ways, then that's what you got to do. You got to get a little funky with it. And so, yeah, that and then limiting OG. I feel like, I mean, OG is kind of, you look at his postseason and then even in game one, he's kind of turned into this something different offensively. And I don't think we have like a good, that's the other thing. We don't have a center. We also don't have a power forward. We don't have anybody that defend power forward. So, like, I do think OG could have a little bit of a mismatch if they wanted to have some fun with that. So
they also, like, not for nothing. This is interesting. Boston played at I don't know if people realize this, the slowest pace in the league last year. So far, it's only one game sample. They're 24th in pace right now of the 28 teams who have played. So they didn't play even appreciably faster. They did play faster than last year against the Sixers in this first game, but they didn't play a lot faster or fast to the point that Joe Mazzulla seems to want to. The pace is still even under 100. So that I think has to change for them as well.
Yeah, I think it goes back to that fourth quarter too. I mean, they just really they slowed down and mucked it up. Like, I don't know what's in the DNA of that, of what happens in the fourth quarter where they're like, let's stop doing all this stuff that's been effective so far. Let's mix it up, slow it down, and just be bad. It makes no sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And Celtics fans are still very salty about that. I think on the Knicks side, Mike, the Celtics, obviously there's a lot of players on there still with pride, led by Jaylen Brown. They're not gonna have liked what happened last night, because that's one you feel like the Celtics they should have got. If you think they are the team they should be, granted, some people think they can win 50 games, but if you think they are we were saying, I kind of like your range. You said 5 to 9, maybe 4 to 9, what you can see in the East. I do think you're right. If you're going to be that team, you can't lose games to the Sixers, who I don't know what the Sixers is going to be. People ask me, I have no idea what the Sixers is going to be. I have no idea because I don't know if Embiid's going to play. I don't know if he's 1 for 9, but my point is they're prideful and they should want to be hungry to bounce back here against the Knicks team. And we've heard a little talk from Jaylen Brown about this, so he could be motivated coming into the Garden to do some things. Are you looking at this as a revenge spot for the Celtics here, trying to show something to the Knicks, who were one of the presumed favorites here in the East?
I would love for JB to come out and have himself like a special night in the Garden, because I both Celtics fans and non-Celtics fans, he seems to be the target of like, not what's wrong, but I don't think they give him the respect that he deserves. I mean, the dude's made an all NBA team. He's a finals MVP. He's a conference finals MVP, but it's just it's not cool to give people credit anymore. I mean, I was listening to you guys talk about Towns beforehand. It's the same thing. I'm like, why are we giving Towns such a hard time? Like, Towns is one of the most talented offensive, like, big men we've seen in a long time, and for whatever reason we dunk on him all the time. I'm like, I don't why like, it's okay, guys, we are allowed to be positive and lift people up, all right? And so I would like to see JB come into the Garden and do something like that, but I gotta be honest, guys, you guys, the Knicks team is very good. I mean, if Cat sits out, then maybe, but I think the Knicks, after getting a win against Cleveland to start the year 2-0, and get against teams like Cleveland and Boston, would be like a pretty good statement. So I imagine you guys are up and ready for it.
Have you said what you just said out loud to people in Boston? Have you told them you think this Knicks team is pretty good? Because the last time I was in Boston, you say something like that, they're ready to pounce on you. Have you said this out loud in public?
A lot's happened since, to be fair, Dex.
Yeah.
This is true.
I'm very, very strong and very tough saying it into a camera when I'm by myself. So I don't know how many times I've said it to somebody's face, but yeah, I think deep down you have to know. This reminds me of like Tom Brady's Patriots, and then it turned into Cam Newton's Patriots. And everybody's like, we're still going to win like 14 games. And I'm like, it's a little different, guys. It's a little different.
It's different now. This is different now. Well,
by the way, Dex, Knicks favored by 6.5 as of when we're talking about this. Bet responsibly.
That's what I will say, Mike. There are some very confident Knicks fans in the chat, led by my guy East Blue Drew. He said we're going to cook them. so bad now. Knicks fans are confident out there. So you're gonna have to bring some of that energy back up to the Bostonians.
Yeah, well,
see how they do. Don't say it in the street though. I care about you. I don't want you to say that on the street.
No. Well, I'm a little bit safe too because I'm actually located in New York, so I'm a Boston fan in New York. So I can, I'm safe.
You're safe.
Yeah, I'm safe.
You're safe. Just don't wear no green out. Don't wear any green out tomorrow. Maybe that's not a good idea.
Mike, let me ask you this before we let you go. Is there something you're rooting for with the Celtics season? Like, do you secretly want them to kind of not bottom out entirely, but sell, reboot, and then come back next year with a fully formed team, Tatum healthy? Like, do you want them to kind of soft punt on the season, or do you want them to compete and try to get like a top 6 seed and not be in the play-in?
I think it's kind of like I was saying earlier. I want them to bust their ass for the first 2 months, and then I want to see where we're at. Like I do think if we're like a sub 500 team and we get to Christmas, let's go try to get AJ. You know what I'm saying? Let's go throw ourselves at a good pick because we know this isn't like a long-term tank. We know Jason Tatum's coming back. So let's go do what the Warriors did, except not draft James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga. Let's throw some other darts. But that's what I would like to see. But I am rooting for this team to grind it out. I think there is something as Knicks fans, I'm sure you've had many experiences like this, but there is something to be rooting for a team that is not favored and that is like grinding it out. And I think without Tatum, for guys like Pritchard or JB or dudes like Josh Minot getting an opportunity, I think that it could be a lot of fun. And Missoula's a nutcase, but like in the best possible way. Like I think I think it'll be fun to watch him. If it's like a little bit north of 500 in like a 4-5 matchup in the first round, I think that would be a lot of fun. So ultimately I'm rooting for that. But if we get to Christmas and it's sub 500, let's go get some ping pong balls instead.
All right, Darren Peterson and Kareem Lopez look like they're going to be good. So
that's what I'm saying. I'll take either of those. AJ, give me a boozer, kid. Like anybody.
Boozer. Yeah, you'll take it. All right, so
this draft class could be good. Yeah,
we're going to have to check back in with you on Christmas, but we've got Knicks Celtics tomorrow night at the Garden. Mike is going to be watching. Check him out. That's Mike Zakarian, host of NBA BIT and Celtics Daily. Mike, we appreciate you. We're gonna have you back on here, hopefully before the next matchup. And if it's a little rough by then, and you're talking, you have a sign that says, sell. We got to trade some players.
I'll come back with a for sale sign. Thank you guys for having me. I really do appreciate it. I'm sure it's easy to be welcoming after your performance when you saw our performance.
I will say this, Mike, just to let you know, Bryan and I will never not be welcoming. We're not going to be rude to the guests. You didn't do anything out here. You know what I'm saying? We understand you root for the Celtics, but it's all good. It's all love here. We make beautiful content together.
I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate being here, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. We'll have you back again soon. Check him out again. That's Mike Zakarian, host of NBA BIT and Celtics Daily. Great job rocking with myself and Bryan here on Knicks Weekly Live, New York Got Game Edition. Yo, thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to Greg with the super chat. We appreciate you hitting us with the question. East Blue Drew, I see you with all the energy. I want to make a note here.
There's some smoke in the chat.
There is a lot of fans, and I love y'all. I seriously love all of y'all. Size 9, you're always in here. Nostalgic Nick, shout out to you. East Blue Drew. David, I'm sorry, you said something earlier. I forgot your last name, but you had a good question about Cat. G5 Wheeze. We got Mike Weisberg in here.
Julian Blum, Felix.
Something I want to say, though. A lot of you guys have the all caps energy. A lot of y'all got the all caps energy all the time. And I'm asking, I'm not saying it's wrong or right. Please let your opinion be heard. Put your energy out there. We're not trying to censor you in any kind of way at all whatsoever. Just be respectful. No disrespecting of other people on the show. This is not what we do.
Yes.
We can disagree on things. Sometimes things happen, but we're going to be respectful.
Yes, be an adult.
But I just want to know why do some of y'all have the all caps energy? That's all I want to know. Why? You're making a choice. You're making a choice here. That's all I'm saying. You're making a choice. I'm not saying I like it or dislike it. I know it's whatever. I just want to know. I just hope you're not yelling at me. I don't want you to yell at me or Bryan. I don't want you.
I think
East Blue said, I'm sorry, Dex. They got to hear us. You know what? East Blue, I hear you, bro. You got to make sure your voice is heard. I hear you. Salute.
I think people are just excited that the NBA is back. The NBA is
Which
back.
Is fine. No judgment on that.
It's been months. The preseason's annoying. Summer league is not high quality basketball. And the WNBA, as much as we love it, it's already been gone for a little while now because the finals came and went very quickly because Asia Wilson was not trying to hear that shit.
Nope.
So we don't have any World Cup anything going on right now. Qualifiers aren't for another month. So that, now it's like high quality basketball is here. And we look, great start with Thunder Rockets going to double overtime on the first night. Like I think, yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. And I can't wait personally as we continue to talk about this stuff once we get to like 10, 20 games, get deeper into the season. Because I was looking at, all right, we mentioned Christmas a couple times, and I was looking at when do the Celtics hit Christmas, because it'll be, the same time, obviously, everyone else hits Christmas. So the game totals will be similar. That's like 27, 28 games. Mathematically, that's basically a third of the season already. So there's going to be a lot said between now and then, but that's a great point in terms of when to sort of look at. Like that's a great benchmark. It's a great
benchmark. And you'll have a lot of good data to look at. And, obviously we like to look at data with how it supports what we all are seeing. And, the fans, you guys talk about what you're seeing, and we look at data and we have good discussions with all that. So it's really good. All right. Everybody knows how we close out the show. Bryan and I, we do a little segment. It is called Real or Not. We have 3 things we're going to discuss if it's real or not. Now, this is going to be a little bit weird for us to do the real or not, guys, because we're only talking about one game. It's a 1-game sample, right? But we're going to have fun. We don't know if any of this stuff is real or not. You can let us know if you think it is real or not. East Blue Drew said, don't be surprised if we are 20-0 by that time when he gets around to Christmas. East Blue Drew, if the Knicks are 20-0, y'all are going to be inside. They need to have something else. It's going to be caps plus bold for you guys in the comments. It's gonna be something else beside that. If they're 20-0,
bigger font,
bigger font. It's gonna go crazy. Our producers are going to be like, man, it's blocking the New York Got Game logo at the bottom. I don't know if we could do that. All right, Bryan, let me start off with this for you.
Yes.
Tyler Kolek. Let's talk about him, because a lot of people in the chat were talking about him. There was a lot of conversation last night. We saw in the live stream. We talked about him with Rhea. Shout out to DJ Rhea for joining us last night. I think there's a lot that you could be encouraged about with Tyler Kolek. And there are question marks about who's going to be the backup point guard on this team, which fair question once Malcolm Brogdon retired. But for the first real or not, my question for you, and I'd love to discuss, is was Tyler Kolek's season opening performance a sign of things to come? Positively, right? Because it was a positive performance. 7 points, 2 assists, no turnovers, 14 minutes. Was that do you think this is a sign of things to come, or are you like, let's pump the brakes? Like, we don't got to move too fast. Let's pump the brakes here. What are you saying?
So if those are the options, I would say let's pump the brakes just because it's one game. But I do think it can be real on both ends. And what I mean by that is we got like kind of the full Tyler Kolek experience. We got some shots, creativity on offense, some very good passing. It felt like he could have had more assists than he did. Maybe a couple of hockey assists in there, setting up teammates. But we also got, as soon as he steps on the court, other teams like, where's Kolek? Pick and roll, get the screener on him, like just try to set up the offense going through him. So I feel like you're getting the full two-way experience where he's going to have to be very good on offense to justify big minutes, because on defense, he's going to be a pressure point. They didn't kill him yesterday necessarily, but they did, they did try, and they didn't really have the personnel to do it because they were so short-handed. But
that's the thing. That's the thing. They did it, and I feel like he held his own, but I want to see it against better personnel, right? And here's the thing.
Tomorrow, honestly.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Simons, Pritchard. Like these dudes can cook.
Yeah. Even Peyton Pritchard. I think you just said him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those dudes can cook, and I want to see when he's put in that, I'll call it the torture chamber, right? Let's see how he is. I do think the experience matters. I do want to say that. Like,
he has to
talk about that last night. I thought him getting those minutes mattered. If people want to say, oh, he doesn't have it, or you weren't encouraged by what you saw in Summer League, I understand that. But the only way he's going to get better, right, is to actually get minutes. And this is what a good amount of Knicks fan base was saying last season, which I rocked with them on. I was like, look, could Tom Thibodeau found 5 minutes for him? And we're talking about lower level teams. He couldn't find 5 minutes for him against the Wizards, the Kings,
the Hornets,
the Trailblazers,
the Hornets who had every injury imaginable last year.
This is what we were talking about. So to that point, for him to actually get minutes against a Cleveland Cavaliers, even though they were banged up and did not have the personnel, I think those minutes matter a ton, man. And for him to perform in those minutes, even when he was attacked on defense, I do think that matters a lot. Like, listen, we both like Kolek's game here. We've liked him, what he can do as a playmaker. We know he's just got to hit shots. I think the thing for me that stood out when I was rewatching was Rhea hit on this, the ability for him to get into the paint, but then he actually had a couple of really good finishes in there, which I'm like, okay, if you're doing that, that helps a lot as a look on this team. Just being able to get to the paint. We know how good of a passer he is. So if he's able to get in that deep, that's going to help this team a ton.
Yeah.
And if he can just be competent on defense, is all we've been asking. Competent.
Because he looked really, and I said this last night, he looked really comfortable in that game. Like, too comfortable. Like, Cleveland, are y'all not seeing what's going on here? You know what I mean? He looked real comfortable. So that has to have some carryover. Obviously, it's not going to be a straight line, and it's not going to just be like this the entire season, like just going upward. There's going to be some ebbs and flows because this is going to be his first year with real minutes, we anticipate. And the key will be this also, because he is on a deal that's guaranteed beyond this year. But the key is also this. If we get to the point of the year, let's say that Christmas mark, 27-ish, 28 games, whatever it is, we're a third of the way through. By then, we need to be like, oh, he's the backup point guard, no questions asked. Because if we're there and it's up and down and we're saying, or, the defense is not coming along, the shot's inconsistent, because he only made 1 out of his 3 3-point attempts, small sample size. But if by that point we're not saying he's definitively the backup point guard, then, and they have to go shopping for somebody else, then that tells you where we are with the Tyler Kolek experience. So positive on day one and need to see more consistency going forward.
Because consistency is the thing in this game and in anything. I see some people in the chat, we're talking about SOE's Blue Drew talking about how this will help his confidence. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it can only help his confidence to perform, and he's playing behind someone like Brunson. I think that it is. Julian Blum, Jay Mars said here, dudes took the summer league and killed him, but forgot about the experience he had running the team on a back-to-back from G League to the NBA in one day. Also played well when Snitch Tibbs gave him minutes. Damn, you got to call him a snitch? Damn, man.
Oh, because he went and that's another element. Damn, we didn't talk to Mike about this, but that's
we should have brought up Tibbs switching. That's how bad. We should have brought up Tibbs snitching and going up to Boston. I do think
allegedly we probably won't actually know until
true. It is allegedly. It is true. It is allegedly. But I will say Julian's point though about the hard G League life and going, being up and down. That does wear on a player. That is true. I mean, sometimes we forget the human elements of this stuff. Like, that is tough. Yeah. At the end of the day, though, to Julian's point, you got to perform, right? Like, still, regardless of what you're saying, and he's going to be evaluated by what he does on the court. The one thing I'll say before we move on, and this kind of will tie in. Actually, we'll kind of tie this into the next Real or Not I have, because a lot of confidence is a word that's coming up a lot in the chat, and I do agree with this. But listen. Mike Brown played 11 players on opening night. This is going to be the next thing. Mike Brown played 11 players, 11-man rotation on opening night. Real or not? Because I'm with you on the Tyler Kolek thing. I think it's a little bit of, it looked real nice, but I need to see more. Now, is Mike Brown going to play 11 consistently through the season? I don't know.
I don't know if he'll need to.
He might play 10.
10, yes.
And I think that's more likely. And when I talk about this, guys, I mean that when Josh Hart and if Mitchell Robinson and or are healthy again. I think 10 could be legit. 11? I don't know if that's real. I liked it though. Like, I'll say that. Yeah. I liked it. Yeah. I like seeing 11. I like seeing guys. I thought the way he stole minutes. And you know what? We didn't talk about this last night, B, but I took me back to the episode that we did where we broke down the minutes, where we were the minutes police this offseason. And we talked about how the minutes could look for this team. And if you guys look at some of these minutes last night, some of them were in line with some of the minutes that Bryan and I said for these guys. I believe, Bryan, it was you that said OG would probably play the highest minutes of all the starters.
Best two-way player on your team usually plays the most.
He ended up doing that, playing 37 minutes. Would you like to even see that down maybe a minute or two more? Sure. We'd love to see that down.
But they had no other wings because of Josh Hart, and he doesn't trust Nadia yet.
That's a great point.
That's the thing.
Great point.
So I was thinking about this in relation to the question. because of the rotation. So East Blue Drew says maybe in terms of whether or not he goes 11 deep. I think maybe is fair because Trey Jameson doesn't play if Mitchell Robinson's there.
Right.
That's a 1-for-1 substitution, though. And I would say Landry Shamet doesn't play if Josh Hart is there. I know Landry Shamet serves a different purpose, but like you're going to play Deuce. If Kolek is your backup point guard, you're going to play him. You're going to play Clarkson, I think. Yabusele, Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, and then Huck Porty, Towns, Bridges, Brunson, OG. That's 11 dudes. If you're scrapping one, you would think it's Kolek, but then you would have to come out and be like, hey, Jordan Clarkson's actually the backup point guard. We did not see Jordan Clarkson used as a backup point guard in game one.
Yeah, and he only played, 13 minutes last night?
And he was like the 9th man. And people are betting him 6th man of the year.
Yeah, Kolek was in before him.
Stephen Bondi's been on this from the beginning where he's kind of intimated, like, yeah, they see him as more of a 2-guard.
Steph
more of an off-ball guy, even though he's been a 1 in Utah and was a creator, but he's on a different role here. To which I'm kind of like, why'd you sign him if you want him off ball? You know what I mean? Like if Tyler Kolek was going to be your backup point guard, now it was probably going to be Malcolm Brogdon. But I think if it becomes a Clarkson versus Kolek conversation for the 10th man spot, which is where we might find ourselves, because Deuce is playing. The starting 5 is starting 5, and we're factoring in Mitchell Robinson in with karl-anthony Towns. But then Deuce is playing, Yabusele is playing, Huck Porty's playing, Clarkson, Kolek, Josh Hart. Josh Hart is playing. It's Clarkson or Kolek. So it might be 11. It might be 11. He plays both of them.
And I think, Julian also checked in on the chat. Shout out to you, Julian. He said, I think 10 is sufficient. I think Brown was trying to find the right combos.
I agree.
Now, I do agree. I agree with that 100%.
I don't think you need to go to 11. But
now, if he plays 11, because of what you said, which is a possibility, I still do think it matters that he's trying to find the right combos. This is what the fans were asking for. This is what they wanted to see. Right. This is where I was, I wasn't like super minutes police guy, but where I was with them is like, yo, you got to see what people have during the season. You got to give guys chances to see what different lineups work, right? And this is the way you see this. And I think that really matters. I thought even the way he subbed guys in and out, I talked about this last night on the live show, I thought was really good, giving Mikal a breather quickly in the fourth for 2 minutes, doing the same with Brunson, and then bringing him back to close. I thought those little things mattered so much. And I'm really intrigued to see what he does more, with the minutes. So that's it. Size 9 is out here calling for Josh Hart to be traded already. Come on, man. It's game one.
You won't be selling high given the injury stuff.
This is true.
But yeah, I don't know if there's it's too early to tell. It's too early to tell. But I do think that there's a world where there's an 11-man rotation here, or if it's 10 and you're choosing between Kolek or Clarkson, wouldn't it be interesting if they choose Kolek? Because ultimately he has the longer commitment and they want to develop him. And Clarkson has a 1-year veteran minimum contract.
Here's why I don't think that's crazy. And we'll move on to the last thing and wrap. It seems to me, you're just looking at actions here, guys. I'm not reporting anything. Just looking at actions. Based on what we saw last night, and you heard B just say this about Kolek coming in before Clarkson. And Kolek, I know it's 1 minute. He got 1 more minute than Clarkson. I mean, not going to go crazy. But it seems to me, based on actions, that Mike Brown is very much valuing ball handling and playmaking with his rotations, particularly when Jalen Brunson is not in the game. Mm-hmm. If that is the case, and he values that, which I think is something to value, that I just want to be clear about, there could be the world of what Bryan just said, where it is Kolek over Clarkson. And I would say if the numbers end up bearing right, and those lineups where you say it's Kolek and Deuce, right, and Josh Hart when he comes back, or whomever plays with those bench lineups, if those numbers look good, that's what we're going to go with. I think they're going to trust the data. And this is to Julian's point, which I agree with. He's going to look at which combinations work best. And this is what you use the regular season for. This is what I think you have to in today's NBA. The 2 teams that were in the finals last year were playing Rick Carlos had played 11 deep at times in the playoffs. In the playoffs, he played 11 deep. So I hate when people like it can't be done. Clearly it can.
Yeah.
We saw this last year. It clearly can be done. So, there you go. Julian, appreciate you in here. Saying 65 people watching, 38 likes. Hit that like, subscribe button. We appreciate everybody here. We got a last day for real or not. All right. And this kind of ties in. Our guy Size 9 just brought it up talking about Josh Hart. Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart, banged up. Mitchell Robinson, stuff looks real suspect. We talked to Stephen Bondi about this last night.
Mm-hmm.
Something doesn't feel right. I'm not going to be here speculating. I'm just saying something doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Josh Hart.
Bondi had a good theory yesterday, though.
I thought Bondi did. For those that did not see us in the pregame, let's just reiterate. Stephen Bondi did not speculate. He just threw out a theory. Something that I would like to say and support Stefan that is legit around the NBA. And he said, sometimes players' agents do not want the teams to put out if a player's hurt. And I added, particularly, this was not Steph who said this, but I said this, particularly when they're in a contract year. Sometimes they want to protect the information. This stuff does happen, people. This happens. Steph's not wrong about that. We're not saying that it's happening. We're just giving you something to think about. Okay? So just keep that in mind, right? That's it. And East Blue Drew says Mitch wants his money, I think. Don't we all? Don't we all? And here, I understand it. But Steph did say to us yesterday, don't think that extension's happening this year. Knicks ain't willing to go there. And obviously, if there's a real injury here, I'm not saying anybody's faking the injury. If there's an injury here, I mean, the price ain't high. You know what I mean? It's not like Mitchell Robinson can come out here and say yesterday's price is not today's price. The Knicks are the ones saying that. Anyway, Mitchell Robinson is hurt. We know he's out tomorrow. Josh Hart, back spasms he's dealing with. Backs are tricky, guys. I've never had a back injury, but anybody playing tough sports knows it's been tough dealing with back injuries. Is there a cause for concern here? Wait a minute. By the way, did we say real or not for the 11-man rotation? I'm like kind of real.
Yeah, we're both like kind of real.
That's not really an answer, but okay,
yeah.
We'll go with it. All right,
it's the first game.
It's the first game. All right, but Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart, are you concerned? Is it high level concern for you with these injuries? I am, and a scale of 1 to 10. What's your level of concern for both of these injuries?
Mitch is a 7. It's climbing a little because it's spooky, and he has.
It's October.
It's October. It's October. Yes.
Just saying.
He has an injury history. I remind people: 17 regular season games last year, 31 the year before, 59 the year before, and a couple years before that, just 31. Did have a pretty healthy season, 21-22. He played 72 games. That's not accounting for, playing through injury in the playoffs and things like that, or in the regular season. Like, he's just one of these dudes. And this to the agent point. This is his chance to get paid. He's going to be 28 when he hits free agency. And we don't know if he's going to have another contract after this upcoming one, because it doesn't seem like he's a guy that's going to have a 15-year career, given the way he's been health-wise. So Mitch, to me, is a 7, not just the injury specifically, but also like it's just cloudy. It's weird. And you played 3 preseason games and now you're load managing. That's weird. And it's not like you were the backup big, you were the starter. You're starting at the 5. And this is another reason why I'm like, I agree the defense could be better this season, but if Mitch isn't there consistently,
then I don't see it.
Me
saying that is banking on Mitch being there.
Yeah, with respect to Huck Porty, but he ain't Mitchell Robinson right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's a better passer than Mitchell Robinson, though. Not for nothing, but he ain't Mitchell Robinson right now. And then with Josh Hart to me, we know he's going to be injured all year, so maybe it's also a 7, because I wanted to say 6 just because I know he's hurt, and he said he's going to be hurt all season long. But Bondi said it yesterday. His body's been through a lot, and I've compared him to a running back. He is now 30.
Yep.
And he is on a 3-year deal. He will be 31 in March. So how many miles are left at the way he plays. And I think some guys post Tom Thibodeau, it's tough health wise. If you look, he doesn't run everyone to the ground. Like Jimmy Butler's defied all that, even though he's had lingering injuries and such, but he still was able to do Jimmy Butler stuff after. Some people would say that's an anomaly. So I'm curious to see what Josh Hart looks like in a bench role. I think he should be in a bench role going forward, but I would say 7 for both.
All right. I like those numbers. I think they're fair. I'm going to go a little higher for Josh Hart. I think backs are tricky.
Interesting. Yeah.
Backs are tricky, man.
It's not just the back either.
It's not just the back, and we've got the finger, right? But the back worries me more than the finger. Really does. Worries me a lot more. I know the finger needs to have surgery on it again, and he re-aggravated. Backs are tricky. The thing about Josh Hart that fans love and what makes him dope to watch, we always say Josh Hart doing Josh Hart things. When you got a bad back, you might not be able to do Josh Hart things. And that might not bode well. So my concern level, I'm going to go a little higher on that with Josh Hart is at an 8. Now, if he comes and plays tomorrow, he's listed as questionable for tomorrow against Celtics and looks good. Maybe I feel a little bit different. Backs are tricky, man. Backs are really tricky. And so I have a little high level of concern there. Mitchell Robinson, I think I'm with you at the number being 7. It could be, maybe some people will argue in the chat, it should be higher because it's Mitchell Robinson and he doesn't ever play. And I understand where you're coming from. If that's what you're saying, like you're like, hey, Dex, we don't ever see him. So my concern is at a 9. I can't say that you're wrong, right? I can't say that you're wrong about that at all. I think the concern, what I'm saying all about this, for me, this is real. I think the concern level should be high and real for this. And I am not Mr. Push the panic button. And I'm not saying
you're not at all. I'm actually really surprised that your numbers are high like this.
I'm not yet. So that might tell you
because
something.
I know you very I don't think people understand. I know you very well.
Yeah,
so I'm surprised that my numbers are lower than yes. I'm surprised that my numbers are lower than you.
I'm pretty even. I'm pretty even. Let's wait and see. I am with the wait and see program, guys. I am.
Yes.
But if you don't have any faith that Mitchell Robinson is going to play, I have a good argument for you. I just don't. Bryan just gave you all the games over the last couple of years. I'm not saying he's not valuable on the court when he's healthy. We damn sure know his value on the court when he's healthy. I'm just saying, do you have faith that he's going to play? And the fact that he played 3 preseason games, hasn't played since then, didn't play in the opener, and they're out here calling it load management. And that doesn't sound like what you would call load management. What load are you managing if you haven't played?
And you did play in the preseason,
right?
If he didn't play in the preseason at all, and these 2 games were like, hey, look, he's not quite ready yet. Whatever. Like if we haven't seen him, that'd be worrisome too, by the way. But it'd be less confusing. It'd be more like, yo, we just haven't seen this player play yet.
That's it.
You played in 3 preseason games?
I think that's why the number's high for me. Even with Josh Hart Josh Hart at 8. It's just I'm really concerned about his back. Like Josh Hart's going to give max effort. He's out there. I'm not worried about his game per se. I'm more worried about his health. And it's back. And Julian Blum here said, I have 4 herniated discs and a pinched nerve. Jeez. God bless, brother. You can't do what Josh Hart does with what I got. Julian, please take it easy and be well, man. But understood the point. The point is understood. That's my level of concern. I think if I see Josh Hart play, and we talk about this next week, I'm going to be a little bit lower. I don't see the Mitch thing getting much lower for me until I see some consistent playing, because nothing with the Mitchell Robinson situation makes sense. Nothing makes sense. If somebody can make it make sense, please make it make sense.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing I will say. I saw a bunch of people in the chat, Size 9, East Blue Drew. I saw you guys saying, time to trade Mitch, move on. I was kind of on that program last year.
Me too.
I'm not saying I don't understand his value. And
I was on it more than you, actually.
You were.
Trade deadline. Yeah.
Jonathan Macri talked about this when we did the season preview, and we talked about Mitch's value, and I do think he's very valuable to this team. But the best ability is availability, and he just really hasn't been that available. And so I understand where some of you guys are coming from, where you're saying trade and coming. I get it. I understand where you're coming from. But we'll see. Let us know in the chat if you think it's real or not. We'll see if Tyler Kolek is real with what he's doing. We'll see if Mike Brown is real with playing 11 men. We'll see if Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart's numbers. Who knows? Next week, you might talk to Bryan and me. Bryan might be at a 9, for all you know. Might be at a 10. 10 is really push the panic button. I don't generally.
If he hasn't played by then, because we're gonna have a few. They have the Celtics.
We'll have a few games.
Heat coming up. They have the Bucks. We're doing a watch party for that Tuesday, by the way.
We do.
Oh, watch party Tuesday night. And, like, they have games coming up. So if he hasn't played by the next time we do the show, which will probably be Thursday, then yeah, that's gonna be interesting. And in terms of the trade piece, because I'm not gonna pass up an opportunity to talk about trade, because it was brought up. To be clear, I'm not just creating
early
this
for trade season, man.
No, but all I'm going to say is I don't know what that looks like yet. I haven't been able to process it because I don't know the back situation. So the injury situation so weird. It's the 12 million expiring, and what value does that have for another team? Because there's another team taking on Mitchell Robinson because we'll handle this and we think he could be a backup center for us, or is another team taking him on because you're attaching an asset to give us somebody we're probably not going to re-sign and maybe closer to damaged goods that is led on publicly, which I don't think is necessarily the case. But behind the scenes, like we don't know what the medicals look like. That's the other piece of this, and they could be trying to protect. Somebody could be trying to protect him so that he can be decent enough to get a contract. But we need to know a lot more on that situation specifically.
I agree. We do need to know a lot more. All right, we've gone well over time. Thank you for everybody for rocking with us here on this edition of New York Got Game, Knicks Weekly Live. We appreciate you. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to New York Post Sports YouTube channel so you can stay tuned in with everything that we are doing covering the Knicks between myself and Bryan. I'm going to be away this weekend, so we are not going to have an episode dropping on Monday. But on Tuesday, we'll be back with another live watch party, Knicks versus Bucks. I know a lot of y'all want to talk about Giannis. I saw it in the chat. I didn't bring his name up until now because it's going to come around the watch party. I know a lot of you guys want to talk about Giannis, and you're going to be watching the game talking about we need Giannis on the Knicks. I understand all that. Come watch it with us. We'll have a special guest, myself and Bryan. We'll be doing that. We'll have another New York Got Game Knicks Weekly Live next Thursday. We'll be doing this again. So I know a lot of you guys want to run and watch the NFL right now, but we appreciate you rocking with us to talk about some Knicks basketball. That is Bryan Fonseca. I'm Dexter Henry. We'll catch you next week. See y'all on Tuesday on New York Got Game.